It's brought to you by allaboutmqm.org, the MQM's knowledge base.
About this as well, the names that have been given out, Ahmed, correct me if I'm wrong, Khalil and Mohammed Shafi, Ghulam, Kareem, these are some of the names that have been given out, and these are the workers, these MQM workers who died yesterday, the relief workers who died yesterday after the JPMC blast. You see emotions just pouring out. Sad day of events taking place in Karachi on Friday, and this was similar to what happened almost 41 days ago at the Ashura procession, the blast that took place almost 41 days back. The streets of Karachi still wear a deserted look as people of the city come to terms with devastating double bombing that claimed at least 25 lives yesterday. Funeral prayers for these victims of the twin bombings are currently underway. The MQM has announced 3 days of mourning to remember those who lost their lives in the double bombing. The Jafri Alliance and the Shia Ulama Council have also called for a peaceful citywide strike against the horrifying incident. However, they have also urged citizens of the city and the country to keep their mourning peaceful. The head of the Jafri Alliance, Allama Abbas Kubeli, has demanded that the government should provide compensation to the victims' families. Political parties, including the MQM and the ANP, have urged the people of Karachi to exercise restraint following this carnage. Prayers currently underway in Azizabad. You can see Mustafa Kamal, Dr. Farooq Sattar, some of the prominent MQM leaders currently present at this funeral procession of 8 people who died yesterday in the second blast near the emergency ward of the Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center. We were talking to our correspondent. He did say 4 checkposts have been set up and they are currently being guarded by MQM workers in civilian clothes and carrying AK-47s. Security seems to be much better in the Jinnah ground, and devices have been placed devices have been installed. Hand devices are also there with these MQM workers who are checking the pockets and manually checking all the people, the personnel coming in to attend this funeral procession. Emotions pouring out because it was a sad day yesterday. You can see Mr. Lama, who was actually praying at the funeral procession, just collapsing on the ground because of the heat and the emotions that have been pouring out. Sad day of affairs in Karachi. Just collapsed on the ground because of the heat and the sad day of affairs that Karachi has witnessed as a whole. Funeral prayers for blast victims are being held. You see people just crowding around Lama, who just collapsed on the ground right now after the prayers. Karachi is still mourning whatever happened yesterday, the 2 blasts that claimed the lives of 25 people and injured scores of others, similar to what happened almost 41 days back at the Ashura procession. Prominent MQM leaders are also present there in Azizabad at the Jinnah ground, where the second round of funeral processions are currently underway. We will be crossing over again to our correspondent Ahmed Jung, who is there. Ahmed, we just saw emotions pouring out and people obviously enraged and not happy with whatever has happened. Any updates? Police officials, you said they have started to come out in numbers now, because previously the 4 checkposts were only guarded by MQM workers.
Well, Taha, what happened was that while saying the prayers and asking for peace, we saw that Maulana, the Maulana fell down and he fainted. That might be due to that he was crying out that since the last last week and the week before, he has been only seeing dead bodies again and again. Day before yesterday only we saw that the MQM gave out a 121 member list of MQM workers being killed in target killing, and now yesterday they find that 7 more MQM workers, 8 workers were killed due to a terrorist bomb attack that happened at JPMC. Now this is what is actually giving them shots on a daily routine, and they believe that Now they are believing that they are being targeted and that actions should be taken on a very serious note. And they, as I spoke to Raza Harun earlier, he has called in that these are the enemy of Pakistan, and they need, the government needs to actually get rid of them as soon as possible.
But the government, Ahmed, sorry to say, does not carry the appropriate and the sufficient equipment to address these issues, because we saw the likes of reports coming out and saying that the bomb-sniffing dogs that were accompanying the Rangers personnel, they failed to detect bombs. Is the mood still tense around there in Azizabad at the Jinnah ground where the funeral procession is currently underway? Ahmed, are you with us?
And now we are seeing that the MQM workers who were actually keeping a security check are now pretty serious now, because the crowd with the 7 bodies have started to move out in a large group on the road. And we can also see that now we have certain MQM workers on rooftops who are actually trying to take a look of the street on a much larger scale, so that they can have a long view of the street, that any person entering the grounds could be stopped from the outside who have not been security cleared.
And still, Ahmed, very few numbers of police personnel can actually be seen from that spot. Ahmed, are you with us?
Well, there are police officials who I earlier told you that were standing outside the ground. They still have maintained that position, and they're not moving. They're still guarding the gate only. The crowd is moving on their own, and they're not guarded by any police or any scout. It's only the MQM workers who are actually walking within them at the back and right in front of the crowd.
Okay, Ahmed, we will be coming back to you as soon as we can regarding this issue. We just saw that the funeral prayer leader collapsed during the funeral prayers right now. And obviously sad day of affairs in Azizabad at the Jinnah ground, where 8 people who died yesterday at the JPMC, 8 MQM workers, their funeral procession was currently underway. And prominent leaders were also witnessed on the ground right now, the likes of Mustafa Kamal and Dr. Farooq Sattar. They were all present there, and also the IT Minister Raza Harun. And when Ahmed, our correspondent, spoke to the IT Minister Raza Harun, he did say that they were relief workers of the JPMC who died yesterday because of the second attack. Earlier, some of the MQM workers who were emotionally involved, they did shout out that revolution wants the funeral prayers to come to an end. MQM workers can be seen on rooftops guarding the streets, the nearby streets. The area has been heavily cordoned off completely, and very few numbers of police officials can actually be seen, because the MQM workers themselves have set up 4 security checkposts, and they are guarding these checkposts themselves.